What's up, AV Ministry team? It's Rob. I'm over in the sanctuary and I wanted to take a second to get you updated on a few updates we've made in the sanctuary and things you'll need to know before you serve in your next Mass. Okay, first things first. Hearing assist system, repaired. Works perfectly now. Please feel free to give them out and please ask folks to bring them back to the soundboard at the end of Mass so you can put them away. Okay, next, we've made some changes to the music space itself, mainly how we mic our choirs and where everybody sits. So take a look, I'll show you what the new space looks like and where you can find these new mics on the soundboard. Okay, for our choirs, 2 large choir mics on stands. We've also got 2 lower mics down here made for the children's choir. And then when we have soloists, like at the 4-hymn group or the 5 o'clock group, 4 vocal mics. All of these mics will stay in place at all times, so you don't need to tear them down between masses. Moving over here, we have 2 more of these mics just for the orchestra. And over in this space where the handbell tables used to be, we've got 3 inputs for guitar and a monitor, our 2 gooseneck mics for winds and a monitor, and of course, drum kit here with its own monitor. Last, in the back, handbell tables have been moved to the back row of the choir. They have 4 mics, also which will just stay in place, connected to a snake underneath the table. Back here at the soundboard, here's what's changed. Our vocal mics are now labeled A through D. That's the 4 mics that were in the very front row that vocalists and soloists will use. Our choir mics are right here. Children are right next to them, which will usually be down by default, but you can bring them up and turn them on when they're in use. Same with orchestra. Just to the right of that, turn it up, turn it on when in use. And just to the right of orchestra are the 4 handbell mics right here. Same thing, bring them up and turn on when in use. Your mute section on the board hasn't changed that much. Mute the choir mics, mute the instruments, mute the 4 vocal mics, and mute the ambo monitor, which you mute and unmute for the psalm. And so all these mics and their presets will be updated in the presets on the soundboard after this weekend. But instead of seeing presets by Mass time, it'll now be organized by the type of group. So you'll see a default setting just like we do now. You'll see a cantor Mass scene, which is only when a cantor is singing. You'll see the treble choir preset, which is for the 4 vocal mics up front. You'll see a choir Mass setting, which is when you use the main choir mics and when you incorporate the handbells and or orchestra. That'll all be under the choir Mass setting. And then lastly, you'll see one called 4-hymn, which is for the new revised 4-hymn setup with those 4 vocal mics. So next time you're serving at Mass, here's what you should do. Of course, arrive plenty early. Make sure you're here, turned on and set up 30 minutes prior to Mass start time. Also, within that 30 minutes, please make sure you're stopping by the choir room. Check in with Brian or check in with whoever the musicians are to make sure you have the right preset recalled for the right type of choir or group of musicians. Remember, you can also check that in Planning Center as well. And then lastly, next time you're here, get here a little bit even earlier than you normally would. Get familiar with the music space, get comfortable with where everything is, and then get ready to have a great Mass. So please, as always, contact me with any questions. I appreciate you and all that you do for our ministry. Have a great one, and I'll see you on Sunday.